In order to make these delicious bacon treats, you're definitely going to need some bacon. So we have 3 slices of regular sliced bacon cooked up, and they're cut up, but we're also going to put them through a food processor because you want them nice and granular so that they fit nicely into our treat pan. So you're also going to need a treat pan like this. You could put it in a baking sheet and chop it up. That would work too, but then you'd have to cut them up. Here, you don't have to cut them up. You're gonna get 500 plus treats out of one recipe, so that's pretty amazing. You're gonna smear the batter in here, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. But this is basically a baking sheet that they use to get all the grease off of meat when they cook it. It's a silicone mat, and it's very easy to clean. I have a link down below so you can buy your own. You're also going to need a 10-ounce can of chicken or tuna or whatever meat of your choice. We're also gonna put this through the food processor because we need it to be all the same consistency. You're gonna need 2 large eggs. You're gonna need 1.5 cups of brown rice flour. That's what I like to use because I don't have to worry about allergies with my dogs, but if you have wheat flour or other flours you wanna use, go for it. We want you to customize this to your dog's likes. You also are going to use some Parmesan cheese or some sort of grated cheese of your choice. I'm gonna do this to taste, probably about 1/2 cup to be honest, because I'm making like a cordon bleu of treats. I'm also going to use a tablespoon of olive oil. You could use canola oil as well, just up to you. You'll also need a spoon to measure and stir. You're going to need 1.5 cup measuring cups. Food processor, as I said, I have a teeny tiny one, so it's going to take me a minute to grind all this up. And then you're going to need a bowl and a spatula. So once you get the chicken open, you are going to want to drain the additional liquid off, or tuna, whatever you're using, because it's going to be too much moisture for the recipe. So go ahead and dump the water. It would be good, especially if it's low sodium, to mix in with your dog's food. Now that I have the bacon and the chicken all ground up, I'm going to put it in the bowl, and then I'm going to start measuring out all my other items and get everything into the bowl. Get all of the ingredients into the bowl, I'm going to go ahead and set the oven to 350 degrees. So that way, by the time I put everything together, we can pop them in the oven. So as I'm mixing this up, I'm noticing that it's a little more like sand, and we want it to be more like a pancake batter. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water at a time. Maybe a teaspoon at a time, and then I'm really going to mix to make sure I'm getting that consistency, because I want to be able to smear this into my pan. So I need a little bit more, so I'm just going to keep adding a little bit at a time, maybe a teaspoon at a time, until I get the right consistency. Okay, I feel like this is a good consistency. It's like a thick pancake batter so that you can smear it. So you don't want it too thick and you don't want it too thin. Now we're ready to dump some of the batter on here. Remember, it's going to make multiple batches. I did fail to tell you you're going to need a large baking sheet because this is so flimsy, you're not going to be able to necessarily lift it and put it into the oven without dumping some of the batter. So what I like to do is just dump some in the middle. I feel like I'm maybe grouting, not that I've ever done that, but that's my analogy. And then I'm going to smear it with my spatula. You could use a wooden spoon. You could use even the like rice cooker has a nice little spatula you can use. And this is where you might get a little messy. But we're just going to slide along in till all these little squares are filled up. And what's really important is that when you do get all of them filled up, you kind of do some cleanup work and you slide along the tops so that way there's not a bunch of little crusty pieces, if you will, in your treats. Alright, so I have smeared all the batter into the pan. Our oven's ready at 350 degrees. I want to show you guys, look how much batter is left. So we're probably going to have 2 to 3, maybe even 4 partial rounds of this. So we're going to have a ton of treats. I'm going to talk about how to store them. You could also store your batter and maybe for a week keep it in the fridge if you wanted to make them fresh, or maybe your dog likes them hot. But we're going to talk about how to store them after they're good and baked. So we're gonna pop these in the oven for 12 minutes. Keep an eye on them. We want them to be firm but not crunchy unless your dog likes them crunchy. You want them to be a nice little bitty training treat or a little snack. All right, our first batch is complete. It looks perfect, so 12 minutes worked beautifully. You want to let them cool off. You can wait 5 minutes or more just because it's going to be hard for you to hold the pan and do the next step. But what you want is this nice little light brown color. If you want them a little bit crispier, you can definitely leave them in there a few minutes. Just keep a close eye on them. All you're going to do is you're going to lift it up very gently, and this is the magic right here, is you just dump them. Hope you guys can see that because it's really awesome. We're just dumping them into this bin. Here are all those little crunchy treats coming out. We're going to do a taste test. It's my first time making these. I have to thank Rachel Anderson, one of our amazing instructors, for thinking of putting bacon in these. I am ashamed to say I never thought of that. Pretty brilliant, but you guys can put anything in here. So I'd love to know what you decide to make with this recipe. And I've got a few more tips for you, so stay tuned. Since this recipe is going to make 500 plus treats for you, that may be a ridiculous amount of treats for a person who doesn't do dog training for a living. I get that, and even for me it's a lot of treats. So what you can do is take your treats once they've fully cooled and just put them in these little snack bags. This is perfect to grab and go. But what you're gonna do is just put the amount you want in each bag, and then you're gonna seal them up and put them in your freezer. They're gonna last for months and months, and put anything else you wanna use straight away into the refrigerator because you have, chicken and egg in here, and that's not gonna hold up if it's out and about on the countertop. Now for the moment the dogs have been waiting for, that they've had a really hard time being quiet while we were filming this video. It's taste testing time! Come on, dogs! I know, there's one for you. Mmm, tasty. My guys are not picky. Panther, you want treats? Oh yes, I do want treats. Good. Nice. Molly, you want a treat? I'm going to throw one to her. Norby. Whoa, Panther said these are really delicious, and he's going to need 10 of them. See what Norby thinks? Good. Nice. Everybody's happy. Everyone gets a bunch more. Good job. Good job. You guys want to do some tricks? Let's do some tricks. Here, Norby. You ready? Spin. Awesome. Good job. Let's see if we can get Panther to do it too. You ready? Are you ready? So exciting. Hold on. I know. Spin. Very good job, guys. Superstars. There's our Mooey. Good girl.